Hello and welcome to episode 6 of our Interviews with the Expert series. Today I'm so pleased to be able to bring you Claire Holnes. She is the founder of Sweet Beginnings Baby Care, a gentle and holistic sleep coach for sustainable solutions. So I do believe there'll be many women in this group and further wide who will really greatly benefit from this interview. So I'm just going to start and just hand it over to you, Claire, because I think people are going to be really desperate to meet you and hear what you've got to say.
Oh, hello. Thanks for having me, Naomi. Been a real pleasure to chat with you today about sleep and everything sleep related. Hopefully it will help some of your mummies in your network. I'm sure it will do.
I think it definitely will.
So yeah, like Naomi says, I'm Claire. I'm mum of 5 boys myself. I've had my own sleep issues myself, and one of the reasons why I ended up training to be a sleep coach was through my own experience with my second child, who is now 17, and he's fine actually now. It took a while.
Took a few years.
Years. I'm surprised we had, but we did. And like I say, they all sleep very differently. But my second, even at 17, is very much of a different sleeper than the other boys. It's not your typical teenager. He still likes to get up early. Kind of works in my advantage. To be fair, because he makes me a cup of tea in the morning. And
nice.
He used to actually make the boys' lunches, so he used to always have everything quite prepared. So he was the one that gets up early and gets everything sorted with me. So it works in my advantage now. But
wow, so you have a bit of helping hand. That's great.
Yeah. When he was tiny, despairing and up multiple times and living on about 2 hours sleep a night, and then having to go to work for 10 hours, it was horrendous. And it did end up resulting in quite a bit of postnatal depression for myself that I didn't actually admit to. Ended up with me and my husband had a split as well, so it did cause quite a lot of tensions. And I think sleep deprivation is the worst thing. I mean, it's no wonder that they actually use it in torture and things like that. So it is literally torture.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't function, and everybody needs sleep, and obviously everybody's sleep requirements are very different and things, but we all really need our sleep, and obviously that is detrimental to our lives, just getting on with daily life and things. And if you're a person as well who loves their sleep, and then you've got a brand new baby that doesn't quite like the sleep.
Yeah, that was me. Definitely me.
You've got that different two changeable things there as well. So it can be a massive transition. And I don't think, as much as you prepare for your new baby and everybody tells you, oh, never going to sleep again and things, and probably got horror stories and things, but you don't actually prepare yourselves properly until we're actually physically in it. And it is hard then, because obviously you arrive to actually be able to solve the problem without because you can't see the wood for the trees then.
But you can't really prepare for that either, because everyone's, like you say, everyone's baby is so different, and everybody's capabilities and capacities are so different. We all have different breaking points. We all have different situations, as in, like, do we have a partner? Are we married? Have we got family close? What have we got to do the next day? Or how we even value or see our days the next day. Like, for some people, I really struggled with that role of, I didn't even feel like I was a wife anymore. I wasn't going to work. I was home with the baby. And I just felt like that loss of role of I couldn't even clean or tidy or wash up properly. My husband was so good. He just kept telling me, leave everything. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is me and the child. But I was so sleep deprived that I couldn't even comprehend what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So I couldn't figure it out. And when you're in the thick of it, it's really hard to think rationally, because obviously your brain isn't functioning properly, and that's what it does to you, and it can really sound spiral very emotionally. So that first kind of bit as well, like the 4th trimester bit, is such a huge stage of transition, isn't it? And some people,
Oh,
the babies sleep all right, but for most, they really don't.
oh, definitely. I mean, that first 3 months, it's that transition period from womb to world. So babies literally come from that 5-class womb service, as I call it.
Yeah.
So literally have everything on tap, and now to come out into the world where they've got to be clothed, they've got people, it's noisy and everything, it's really disorientating for them. I mean, our babies are literally born a little undeveloped anyway compared to ours and things, so they do actually rely on us really heavily, and they're not meant to be independent straight away and things. So they need that reliance. They need to be able to build that connection with us and things. We are their safe distance point, our safe place and things. Yeah. It is that massive transition. And then it doesn't really help with everybody, whether it's your professionals, your friends and family, the cashier at Tesco's, saying, oh, is he a good baby? Or is he sleeping there? And things. It's usually one of the questions there. And then obviously then it kind of spirals a lot with going off to groups, and you might meet a mum that her baby sleeps 8 hours and yours
or
isn't.
do they? Do they? Because some people fake that, don't they, as well? Some people sort of, oh, my baby's sleeping really well, because there's a barrier of like, I'm failing if my baby isn't sleeping at 2 weeks.
It does. And I mean, I've done that myself as well. I remember with my older ones particularly, I put the makeup on, take them to the school and things, and say, little one's in the pushdown, he's absolutely fine. I said, yeah, he's fine. Actually, I just wanted to burst into tears and cry on somebody's shoulder and things. And we don't actually, it's not spoken about, and it is very, very, there's so much information out there now, especially with Google and things. I mean, I'm kind of glad that I had my older ones without Google. So,
yeah.
Giving my age away there, but
it's all right, love. You're not ancient. It's fine.
But yeah, we didn't have Google on tap and things. I mean, it was kind of very intuitive, and although I kind of didn't really know what I was doing and things, kind of relied on a few books and things. But there were times when I went to a professional, the health visitor or the doctors, and kind of didn't really pursue it as I should have done, because I was kind of classed as, oh, you're a not neurotic mother, or try leaving him to cry and things like that. Against everything that I wanted to do as a mum and things. So I really, really do believe in trusting your intuition more than anything. Really focusing on your little one. Your little one has their own little personalities, and I mean, I have 5 boys.
That's so many.
Completely different. I do wonder if we've come from the same gene pool sometimes. I do. But they all have their very, very different sleep requirements, different type of mothering and things. And you kind of say, oh, you've got one in the bag, the next one will be fine. So it was my second that was not great at sleeping as such. But a lot of that was other issues as well. He was reflux as a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Which was horrendous, and I didn't get as much support as I could have done with that and things. So it's all looking at all these different outsiders. Everybody's got a different sleep story. So when I do look into families, when I'm working with a family, there are so many questions that I need to ask. It's more about the environment, the family dynamics. You might have different parenting factors. You've got one who's more gentle and another parent that's not. So that can be a little bit of a intertwined factor with sleep as well.
So that's the relationship, isn't it, with your partner? And then you've agreed on most things, and then it comes down to parenting, and that can often, not always, but actually it can often be wildly different.
Oh, definitely. And I don't think we have that conversation. We kind of have the idea of having children and things, but we don't actually go down that
What were we going to do? Yeah. How are we going to cope with this then?
Yeah.
Miss out the important bit, straight to the fun bit.
And again as well, when we're pregnant, we kind of have that idealized vision of our baby, of pushing a pram down in and this is all going to be lovely, and you're just going to have a lovely filled maternity leave of lots of cuddles and things, and actually, it doesn't actually end up like that. And especially when you are sleep deprived and the cleaning's getting topped up and things, and you've got everybody trying to tell you how to mother your own baby and things. But yeah, there's so much when we have a look into sleep properly that we have to look into. There's so many different factors. We look at the personality. So some children will happily be swaddled and go to sleep. Some babies swaddle and go to sleep. So it is really, really getting to know your little one. So especially in that first 3 months, try not to focus too much on the actual sleep itself. Just focus on looking after you is a good one.
Yeah.
Because we don't really, really look after ourselves, do we? And just going with your little one and getting more of the connection there, because once you connection and the bond and the trust and respond, and once they've got a really good connection and they can trust you, they know that mum is going to come back to them, and it's fine. But in that first 3 months, you're going to be rocking, feeding to sleep, picking them up when they're crying and things. We kind of have that vision of, oh, you're going to spoil a baby with too many cuddles and things, and you can't spoil a baby with too many cuddles at all. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I honestly think that was a really big factor for me at the beginning as well, because I was so set on the baby sleeping at certain times, because that's how I thought my life was going to be, and I really struggled to accept and go with his flow and how he wanted things to be. And I battled and battled and battled against it, and I kept on battling, you know what, until about 1.5 years, and then I was literally in my hallway, and I just decided to make a choice, and I decided to change my outlook on him. Instead of me fighting against his rhythm, I can't believe it took me 1.5 years to get there, but instead of fighting against that and battling against it, I just let it go, and I let those barriers go. And I wasn't worried when he came in 3 or 4 times in the night. I let him come into my bed, I snuggled him up. I started to think about it with love and positivity and compassion, rather than, why is this person annoying me? Why is this person doing things to stop me from sleeping? And this person is a child, is a baby, and this baby just needs that safety kind of rhythm. And I wonder, obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But I do wonder if earlier on down the road, if I'd have just taken that advice and just flipped my switch at 2 or 3 months instead of 1.5 years, would that bond have developed much sooner? Would it have prevented me from having such severe postnatal depression? Would it have prevented the longevity of his sleep disturbances? And would he have got into a nice pattern anyway? I mean, to be honest, we moved 3 times within 8 months of him being alive, so that probably didn't help.
That's a lot.
But it's acceptance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is acceptance and things, and it's really going with what is going on for you at that time. And we can't, some of the factors we can't change and things. Our partners probably have got to work to provide for us and things, although we'd like them at home or whatever to help the little one and things. There are factors that we can't physically change. Whether you've moved house 3 times, that's absolutely fine, but some of these changes do affect their little one's sleep and things. You'd be surprised at how little changes do actually affect them and things. It can be just a change of visitors coming over or anything like that. So but it is, and I think as well, we kind of have that routine kind of in place. Or have you gotten into the routine yet?
Oh, hated that.
routines are great, don't get me wrong, I do love a routine, but I'm more very, very flexible routine,
Yeah.
more, and then it kind of does get there. I mean, my fourth son to take a little while to get into a routine and things. Very alert through the day, just wanted to catnap and things, but that was him. It was just how he wanted to sleep and things. And then, but when it came to bedtimes and things, that we'd actually established right from being very, very tiny, just you can kind of do a very, very flexible bedtime routine right from couple of weeks.
So what would that look like?
Not in a bedtime routine. Sorry.
Oh, did it stop then a sec? It might have been a bit. Yes, I was just going to ask you what do you think a sort of flexible early on routine might look like, and how do you think someone that's quite easy for someone to kind of adapt to or try out?
In the beginning, obviously your bedtime routine is going to be very, very flexible because they're still going to be wanting feeds through the night and things, but just incorporating just a couple of rituals just before bedtime can be really beneficial. So it could be, to start with, just introducing a sleepy phrase. So good night, Rosie, sweet dreams and things. And you can just repeat that every time.
Oh, that's nice.
It's really, really helpful because babies actually, they love anticipating what comes next. So a routine can be beneficial for baby, but not in the strict sense of feeding obviously some babies do the feeding every 3 to 4 hours and things like that, but you don't need to set your clock by, right, it needs to be in the bath at 7:15 or it happens done that and things. Don't try and get too overwhelmed with the routine, but just introducing it very, very slowly can be really beneficial. So you could start with the sleepy phrase or a little lullaby as you're doing, putting them down into their sleep space. This can work through naps as well, so they're just getting used to just a few little rituals that you can actually do and do constantly. Consistency is key to anything. And looking at making sure that they're adaptable as well with that. So other things you can do, kind of when they get to about 6-ish weeks, you could probably incorporate a bath, pajamas into bed and things. But obviously bedtime, it might be that bed, usually it's downstairs for a little while. I used to keep my little ones downstairs until they went up about 3 months. I was a bit neurotic like that, but that what works for you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But it's just doing things in the very same order, and that can just be really, really beneficial for them to actually know when it is time to sleep. 1 minute.
It's gone off. Back again. That's good. Yeah, we're there. Yeah, fantastic. So with that then, so really kind of looking at things like gentle flexible routines, acceptance of phase, I guess, where the baby is and where you are, having a look at things that you can eliminate from your day so that you take the pressure off, so that when you're exhausted you don't feel that you have to get X, Y and Z done, that you can just focus on you and your baby.
And really ask for that support and help where you can as well. If partner is coming home or things, I mean, I had it, my husband works nights, so I don't think he's ever done bedtime properly.
Oh my goodness, you poor thing. With 5 boys. Oh my goodness.
Get on with it and things with the little ones, and kind of it ended up being now that they do just go off to bed themselves now. They just know the routine.
Hallelujah.
2-year-old just grabs his blankie and off he goes. And
and he's 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Grabs his blankie and then just goes to bed.
Yeah, he loves it.
That's so good. So actually, with the sort of different ages then, have you had any because I know there's been a couple of people in the group that have mentioned about the regression, and whether it's been sort of earlier on in the sort of 4-month stage, or whether it's been actually later on sort of in the toddlerdom stage as well.
Yeah.
So can you shed any light on that?
We do have no,
I think has it come through
again.
Is it frozen? Oh no, this is tech. Brilliant. Sorry about the tech issues. Oh, I think we're back. We're back. Right, okay, we're back. That's fine. Okay. Right, well, we should be good to go. So yeah, regressions. What have you got to sort of talk about that for a little minute?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. So there are lots of information, lots of myths around regressions as well. I absolutely hate the term regression. Because there's no such thing as a regression. It's more of a progression. So if we could call them progressions, that actually sounds a lot better.
Loads more positive.
Lots more positive. They're one way. Our children's sleep is very disorganised right through like first 3 months into the 6 months really. So when they are born, to start with in the first 4 months, the sleep is very, very different to our adult sleep. So what happens at 4 months is that their sleep architecture changes to follow more of an adult pattern. So they go through the phases of sleep, they go into the deeper sleep, and they'll transition like we do into their sleep cycles. And obviously they've had that 4 months where the sleep was a bit disorganised and things. You can, in that first 4 months, you can usually, babies are quite transportable, so you could actually leave a sleeping baby, and usually, not all of them, but they are usually quite transportable. When we get to about 4 months and they go into their different sleep cycles and things, that's when sleep becomes a little bit disorientating for them a little bit, because they're going into their sleep cycles. When we wake up after a sleep cycle, they're getting a bit unorganised. They're actually woken up to the world at 4 months as well. They kind of get that serious case of FOMO, so they just
bless them.
Yeah, they go through so much developmentally, and a lot of the kind of regressions are literally more so from them learning new skills. So, and babies, once they've learned these skills, they actually want to learn them all the time, and that means 24/7. So if they're practicing, and you get to about 4 months as well, they usually started to roll, so that can be a bit of a cause an issue with night time and things. So it's just literally keeping on top of these things. So if they're you probably find there's usually ones that hit around 4 months, and then you get one probably around 6 months where they get separation anxiety. That can be a lot of feeling alone in the cot and realising, oh, I'm okay, no, mum is not there, so first thing I do is dream. And so there's that's a lot. And then obviously when they get a little bit older, they start walking and crawling and standing up. And standing up in the cot is a good fun as well. So all these different factors that they're learning and processing through the night. I mean, I could talk to you about sleep science, but I don't want to bore you too much, but
well, you could throw a bit in there if you wanted to, but yeah, so it's up to you how much you want to divulge. I'm sure you'll be back at some point, hopefully, so we'll get some more out of you.
But yeah, literally as we go into our sleep, we have in the first part of the night, so between about 7 to about midnight is when we sleep at our deepest levels. So that is our really restorative sleep and our deep sleep that we really benefits everybody, even our little ones. So our little ones do find it very difficult to get into that deep sleep once they're past that 4 months regression or progression. I
like progression. I'm going to go with that.
I'm trying to get it out there. Stop these parents worrying about regressions and things, but it is, and it's quite difficult for them to actually get into that deep sleep sometimes. And then if they've had a sleep disturbance at night when they're trying to cycle into their next one, it's a kind of their body and their mind having a bit of a fight, and who wakes up, if they wake up and things, and they get a little bit disorientated, and then they're looking for how they actually got to sleep in the first place. So they may have had rest there, and there was in mummy's arms, and thinking, right, now I'm in my cot, what am I supposed to do? And obviously the brain obviously develops, and that our logical brain doesn't actually develop until we're into our teens and beyond, and so we can't actually rationalize our little ones. And so yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma of being in the cot alone, and okay, I was in mummy's arms a minute ago, that was the last place I was, and yeah, it can be a bit disorientating for them.
It's so useful to know a little bit more about these different sort of developmental stages that babies are going through, and actually what's happening within their own sleep cycles, because it does make sense to how they react. And speaking from experience here, from a sleep deprived mum for a really long time, that drove me potty. I couldn't understand at the time what was happening. I knew that there was this thing called sleep regression, but I didn't really know what that was, because I'd never had sleep, and I just thought, how can it be regressing or progressing now if he's never been on a level anyway? So I didn't really feel like I was linked up to that, but had I have known a bit more of this kind of information back then, perhaps it would have helped again to kind of just help me just to relax into it a little bit, because I think that can be such a key point, is that we're so worried as mums, and of course we are, it's our children. We've never had children before, and even when we have a second or a third, they're different and with different situations. So yeah, those kind of worries and concerns and anxieties can kind of be projected by sleep deprivation and not knowing really what's going on with our babies. So I think this is hopefully going to really, really help some of the women in the group and wider afield as well to understand a little bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely, it opened my eyes. I mean, we kind of think sleep is just sleep and that's it. It's just you go sleep, close your eyes, and that's it. Get on with it. If only it was that easy.
I know.
And I think we put a lot of pressure on our little ones as well, because actually for anyone that goes to bed, we all have our own little rituals going on. We all have our little things that we do before we go to bed. Nobody kind of really goes and hits their head on the pillow and goes straight to sleep unless you're absolutely overtired, which I can come in and do another talk about overtiredness on just one big thing, because
that would be great actually. Yeah, I think that would be really good.
Overtiredness is a lot of cause for a lot of sleep issues, to be honest. If you're going to rule anything out, look at the nap gaps and look at how your little one's going to sleep. There's so much that I haven't covered here, but yeah,
I think we might need to get you back another time. And I think also, yeah, unfortunately the time is starting to dwindle away on this now. So what I think would be really useful is to how can people find you? Where's the best place to kind of come across you? Look at your page, your website, anything like that?
I have my Sweet Beginnings Baby Care page on Facebook. I am on Instagram as well at Sweet Beginnings Baby Care. I do have a little group as well, which I'm hoping to expand a little bit, which specifically is for sleep, which is called Sweet Beginnings Mama Care.
Oh, nice.
It's only little at the moment, but we'd like to grow it, and I'll come in and do lots of Q&As in there as well, so hopefully that will work. And my website is sweetbeginningsbabycare.co.uk. Yeah,
fab. That's amazing. So yes, please, I think everyone who's been watching this and who wants some help with sleep, please go over and join your group as well.
I'm trying to do a weekly blog as well, so there is a blog on the website at the moment recently that's just a for newborn sleep and things. So if anyone's got any newborns that are not sleeping, check that little blog out. It's got quite a bit of information on there. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds amazing. Thank you so much. I really mean that, for coming and chatting with us today, because I know that this is going to be wildly beneficial to people now, and to people much further in the future as well. There's always going to be new babies, and there's always going to be mums who are going, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? So I think it's been amazing. Thank you so much. And if you would like to, I would love to have you back at another.
I will. And I just want to say, mummies, remember that you are the expert of your baby. Okay.
Yes. That's key. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.
Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye for now.